Welcome my beautiful people, Fernando David here, and in this video we're going to be discussing some of the things you should know and do before you become an Airbnb host. So let's begin, my beautiful people. The first thing you need to do is understand that becoming an Airbnb host is a full-time freaking job. You see, the Airbnb business is a hospitality service business. You have to really like to deal with the public. Some of us are not suited for that role. So if you're not suited to deal with the public on a regular basis, and believe me, it is, if you've never been in the service business, especially today, because more and more people feel entitled to things, it becomes very difficult. So my suggestion to you is, if you're going to get into it and you know that you're not suited to be the face, meaning the front person to deal with guests, then just hire someone. But that's the first thing you need to decide and figure out if you're suited for it, and if you're not, hire someone that is suited for that position. The second thing you need to do that's very important, a lot of people miss, is where you're setting up shop, does it allow for Airbnbs? There's a lot of laws and a lot of regulations related to short-term rentals, and you need to make sure that where you are setting up shop, where you're setting up your property, that particular state, county, and city allows you to do so, and what the regulations are, what the restrictions are, so that you do not get in trouble with the law. The third thing you need to do is that you need to make sure that you're properly insured. I highly suggest and recommend that not only do you have insurance for your property, or some type of liability and some type of damage protection for your property, but you yourself get what's called an errors and omission liability policy that protects you as the individual and not just the property itself. Next, make sure that you understand your numbers. It is extremely important that you know what numbers you need to be making and what numbers the property can actually bring in to determine whether or not it's going to be profitable to have an Airbnb business in that particular property. So understanding your numbers is critical, people. Next thing is that you need to understand before you get into the Airbnb business is that an Airbnb property or business is exactly just that, a business, right? I hear tons of quote unquote gurus who always refer to as Airbnb business, especially those that try to sell you these programs and they try to sell you on rental arbitrage as it being passive. The Airbnb business can't be further away from being passive. Now, and I want to preface this, if you're working at it, and this is what I mean by that. I could own a property, and I want to turn that property into Airbnb. I want that property to be 100% passive for me. So the only way that can be passive for me is if I give the work to someone else, someone like my company, right? We manage other people's properties, and when we do that, the owner now has a passive stream of income, because the owner is not doing the work, we're doing the work. But if you're setting up shop and you're thinking you are going to run your business and you're thinking that the revenue that comes in from that is passive, you're sadly mistaken, because the Airbnb business is a 24/7 business that requires lots and lots of work. Please understand that. And the last thing I want to talk about is revenue. How much revenue or how much money can you make as an Airbnb host? There is a reason why Airbnb has exploded in the last 5 to 10 years. It's because the potential to make a lot of money in the Airbnb business is there. But it is there for those that understand and have the knowledge and the skill to run a proper business. To become profitable in the Airbnb business, you need to understand a lot. There's a lot of things that come into play. The first thing is purchase of the property, right? Or it's going to apply the same to rental arbitrage because you have to understand how to negotiate leases. The better you can negotiate a lease, the more profitable you're going to be. Although once again, I am not a fan of rental arbitrage. I think it is a horrible business model. There's videos that I've discussed on it, and I will debate this to the end. It is not a long-term profitable business. It is not, okay? So, but let's go back to purchasing the property and or leasing the property. Your ability to negotiate the purchase and or negotiate the lease is going to determine how profitable you are. The second thing is what you put in the property, right? The decorating, the type of furniture you buy for it. Because if you go cheap, if you buy the wrong things, it's going to cost you money. So marketing of the property, the actual listing of the property, all these things will determine how profitable you are in an Airbnb business. So you need to master and learn those skills to be a better host and to learn how to increase your revenues. There's a lot of ways to make money in the Airbnb business. You just have to know and understand and learn those skills. Here at PMI Premium Services, not only have we been doing this for a long time and we learn from trial and error, but we also know what the trends are. Now again, the caveat is, I know that for my market, right? My market, which is in the South Florida area, plus Colombia and Portugal, are different than markets in, let's say, Colorado, markets in Pigeon Forest and Gatlinburg, Tennessee. Those markets are different than ours. So I can't speak for those. I can only speak for mine. But you should be a master of your market. You should be the go-to person if you want to be profitable in your market, right? So I really hope this helps. If it did, do us a big favor. Like, share, comment, follow us on Instagram. I love you guys, and I will see you in the next one.